Oh yes, the title race. It is still on, my friends. Maybe in about 6 years for Newcastle United, because it is part of Laffer's blueprint. Now, welcome back to the Gallagher Shots YouTube channel. Smiling already. And thanks to our sponsors, Guillermo Clothing. Go and buy something of theirs, because I'll do the same, and that's why we say that. Back-to-back wins in Newcastle's 6-pointers against Huddersfield and Burnley. 6 points from the two, and things are finally looking up to 13th. Goal difference is mint. We're pulling away from that little pack at the bottom. My name is Emil. These are the player ratings for the game against the Clarets, Burnley and Schär. Now, Dubravka in goal. I think he dealt with the early pressure. It was another clean sheet, which is what he's there to do. Luckily, Burnley struggled to hit target. I think they didn't really come up with much until the late stage of the second half. Anything that came his way, he looked pretty composed and calm about. 8 for Dubravka, just because he didn't really have that much to do, but everything that he did do, he just dealt with. Miggy, now technically, he did line up Schär for his goal. I don't think Burnley really exploited him enough on the wing. It wasn't really their main line of attack. There was one slight set play scare where the ball came in from Burnley, but it didn't really trouble the keeper. Going forward though, Miggy did quite well on the counter. I think he was alright, and a pretty surprise addition, I would say. But I think Yedlin could have played, so I'm not really sure what happened there. He won some set pieces, but out of the back four, probably the weakest of them. I'm going to give Miggy 8 as well. Schär, star man of the match, set off his own attack for his absolute thunder bastard. I'm going to need some echo on that, please. He needs to watch his fouls when he goes in heavy-footed. I've said this in the last game, you know, that brick-footed Fabian Schär that he seems to have. Yeah, I mean, otherwise, defensively, he dealt with whatever Burnley threw at him. I think Lejeune and Lascelles took most of the defensive duties on this one, whereas Schär was more of that main outlet of attack. He didn't need to keep shooting, though. The crowd kept going, shoot, even though he was in his own half, which was great. But I think he just needs to calm down with a bit of the cockiness. 9 for Schär, great game. Lascelles, as usual, last-ditch challenges in there. Great deflection from Taylor's cross. He dealt with Burnley's goal, mouth scrambles, and he even stepped up against Crouch, which is tough. He kind of jumped out of his boots. Did he chin Diame in the process? Because Diame went down and got a bandage around his head. Does that mean Diame is going to start playing again? I hope so. All line up for a chin from Lascelles. 8 for him. Lejeune, I think he had a nice little dink at goal. It was a bit of a deflection, but Lejeune is crying out for something. He was very strong in his tackle at times, defensively sound for the clearances, and just running into the path of those Burnley shots, which was always nice. 9 for him, Lejeune. Richie did really well to keep the ball in some scenarios, especially for the Longstaff goal. He really ran to the line, last cross that he could manage, and yeah, got it into the box, which obviously led to a goal. He was given a lot of room on the wing, though. I think that wing-back role really worked well against Burnley. He was just given so much space, and he pegged it, and he was moving quite fast, Richie was, and I think that was because it was a real game for him. It was a team he could show a bit of the fire against, a very physical Burnley, so yeah, brilliant game from Richie. 9. Longstaff, as always. I personally thought he should have got man of the match over Schär rather than the goal, but Longstaff again set off his own attack. He brilliantly taken goal, obviously where Richie went to the line, it went to the box, it felt to Longstaff. He could have easily skied it, because we've seen that from him in the last few weeks, but yeah, cracking, and his celebration was mint. He gets better and better by the week, day even, because it's not even been that long since Huddersfield, but the way he wins the ball, stays calm, it's just fantastic. Fully deserving, I want to give him another 10. I think Longstaff is one of our own +9. So he went off for Diame, who got the slight knock. He looked fearless though, especially when he had his bandage around his head. It was like Schär against Sunderland. But yeah, Diame just on the pitch very briefly. Good to see him back. Hayden, loving his game at the minute. He's really bossing that centre of the midfield. Not a flamboyant player, and obviously not as attacking-minded as Longstaff is looking, but just doing his job, and he helped us get a very good rate of possession, which we're not used to as Newcastle fans. I'll give Hayden a 9, because I thought he did very well in the middle. Almiron, another pretty decent performance. 2 home games back-to-back against pretty, you know, exemplary Premier League teams that you'd expect to play against. Obviously not your likes of Man City and Liverpool, but teams that might just slow down his his South American MLS style, whatever he wants to play. Settling in still, but still looking to impress. I don't think it was as good as he was against Huddersfield, but he really wants that goal. He came close in the second half. It was a bit of a tough angle when he was one-on-one with Heaton, but he's shown some good balls in the box as well. Almiron gets an 8 this week, or today, off for King Dummett. There he is. Nice to see him back, looking absolutely sexy with his platinum, silver, whatever hair. If you don't like it, you can get lost, because you don't say anything about Paul. Never mind Almiron. Yeah, that's all. Perez, few in the game where he had a little bit of panic. It kind of crept in. Few things that we used to see from Perez crept in this one. I know he had a very good game against Huddersfield, but I think he could have done better in this one. His first touch lost a bit of possession in decent positions. Frustrated fouls as well, and maybe just going down a little bit too easy. But, you know, it works. It still looks like he's got more focus, though. I think Almiron did a bit more running around this game, which maybe needs to see him just kind of more rooted. But, yeah, just quieter than Saturday, for which reason I'm giving him a 7. It's not because it's a bad performance. He was off for Hosselu, and I think maybe Perez did look tired, so maybe that came into the factor. Rondon, though, again, did look tired by the end of it. I think maybe he should come off instead of Perez, but made a real nuisance of himself in the defence. The strength that you need against Burnley, and they did, you know, slightly keep him out of the game because their defence is very good. It was more of a central role for Rondon in this one, but hold-up play, good as ever, setting off attacks, working really well with Almiron. Not as much towards goal this time. There's a few headers now which are coming in for Rondon where he's just wide. Maybe needs to work on getting those on target because they could kill games off in the future. But 8, he did definitely look tired, so maybe that was, again, Rondon's game. You know, no complaints. Burnley, I don't think looked as good as we would have expected them to be. They were obviously brilliant against Tottenham at the weekend, but a team around us that we've beaten 2 teams now. They are troublesome, but you know, we did the job on Burnley, and that is all we can ask from Newcastle. The games will become tougher. I would say do not get complacent from these last 2 games, and don't lose your cool if this little run of form ends. What matters is that we are doing good stuff at home. We've got very good home form, and West Ham might be a nice little surprise. Hold tight, literally, Paul, because we're going to pull away from the shite soon. The lad's going to be back on the channel with more content soon. You've got the Always Smiling Faces podcast, which you can also subscribe to on all of your podcast providers, however you listen. The Away Say is back. We've got a brand new presenter on that, so make them feel very welcome. And you've also got our super hard FIFA predictions. It's on literally, it's like the actual players themselves are on the pitch when Aaron plays that, and he actually does all right as well. So don't watch any others. Thank you to our sponsors, Guillermo Clothing, and I'll see you soon. I haven't got a song this week. I might get sued.